Hi everyone, you're listening to The Tattooed Psychic, and I am The Tattooed Psychic. You're also watching me on YouTube, and you're listening to me on Spotify. So thank you for your support if you're doing that and you're hearing this podcast and watching this video. I appreciate it so much. I wanted to get on here and talk to you about an experience I had today to kind of show you the examples of what how energy works. I'm going to make it as simple and as brief as I can, but basically the past, I would say, probably 2 months, for about 4 or 5 hours a day, I put on my earbuds, and I listen to positive speeches, I listen to meditation, chakra cleansing, reprogramming the subconscious mind. And I've been really doing that, right? Really focusing on building a bigger community, really focusing on being able to be in a spot where I can do my work and help people, and really being able to get out of my fear, being able to remember the power that we have to change our life and our situations, because we have our brain and we have energy, and therefore we can change anytime we want. We just have to do it. And I've been really working on reprogramming my subconscious, because that's where I get in trouble. Because when things go good, we often self-sabotage, or when change is right in our face, we'll deny it, and then we have more struggles. One thing I have learned is that when change happens, you have to kind of go with the flow, if you know what I mean. I tell people, my spirit guide keeps telling me to go with the flow. Just go with what that instinct is saying. Go with what Go with what is right with you, and go with what you feel is right. If it doesn't feel right to do something, don't do it to make other people happy, right? You have to make yourself happy. You can do it in a polite way, decline, but and I've been doing that. I've been able to say, you know what, this is a time I really have to spend alone and really reflect, and I have to be very careful who's in my life right now, because I'm at a very sensitive transformation, and I love it. It's time, you know. The past 8 years, I shut myself off because of what happened to me. You know, life happened to me, and I got sad, and I got, you know, I was almost killed, all that shit. That being said, this morning I got up early, and I wasn't in the right state of mind. I was thinking about the world, and sometimes I do that. I don't watch the news, but I'm aware of the news, and I was listening to what happened to that poor man in Memphis. I didn't watch the video. I won't watch things like that. I'm a mother, and I couldn't bear it. And I think about things like that, and I just start crying, right? It's just something I do, and I think about all the kids who are abused and murdered and raped, and, you know, and and families hurting, and all the massive shootings and stuff. I mean, it's crazy, right? We're living in a crazy freaking world. And when I was growing up, it was crazy, but not this crazy, if you know what I mean. And we've become more and more detached. We don't connect. And so we're living in a really weird world, especially if you're a healer, especially if you're an empath or any kind of sensitive person, right? You don't even have to be a healer. Just, I think we're all healers, but just most people are healers, born healers, you know. Just life happens, and people become shitty people. And there are people who are born evil. That's a fact. But that being said, I got up this morning, and so I cranked up Adele, because that's what I do, and I drive around, and it was pretty early, and so it was still kind of dark, and then I went and got some to my coffee stand, and I pull up, and the girl, I get my drink, which is a chai tea, half vanilla, half spice. And she goes, oh yeah, I didn't forget. And I said, oh, awesome. And she said, what are you guys doing today? Because I had my dog with me. And I said, I'm taking my dog to the park. And then I'm going to try to get to a sound healing in Seattle. And she goes, oh, that's really cool. I really want to do that. Then we just start talking. She goes, I want to tell you that she just happened to mention that she liked my energy and she had told her sister about me, and even though we hadn't really had a discussion, she was drawn to me. And I was like, wow, that's really cool, you know? And I told her, well, I have a podcast, and so if you're listening, hi, sweetie. And I told her that, you know, if she wants to get together and talk about spirit, whatever, do energy work, whatever, I'm around. And it was a great connection, right? And I was like, I left and I went, wow, spirit, thank you for that, because I've been literally meditating on whether or not I want to do the work anymore. Are people even interested in this kind of work and spiritual development and learning the power of the universe and how to clear their subconscious mind so they can create the life they want and realize that they can actually have the life they want, which is crazy. And which I know is crazy. It sounds crazy, but it's the more you do it, the more you start seeing it. Anyway, that being said, Spirit kind of threw her right in front of me, and it was awesome, right? It was just like, okay. So I took my dog to the park. I get a little hungry, and so I go to my favorite sandwich shop. And I get into the sandwich shop, and me and the girl just, I don't know what happened. We just started talking about energy, and she started telling me about her past. She grew up pretty Catholic religion, and she discovered she's more spiritual than religious, and we had to, you know, and it was just, and I told her the name of the podcast. So hi, sweetie, if you're listening. My sandwich was great, by the way. Oh my God, it was so good. And I just had a magical, it was just like, Spirit was just like, no, Faye, there's people out there, especially young people, young beautiful girls out there, and young beautiful men out there who are coming to their gifts, you know what I mean? We call them star children. They're the younger generation. They're about anywhere from about 18 to about, oh God, about 25 years old. That's the generation I'm really working with, because those are the most psychic kids I've ever seen in my life. It's, I mean, amazing abilities. And Spirit's waking them up, you know, it's this time, because they can change things. Anyway, and it was a magical moment, right? It was just, to me, that's just like Spirit saying, you know what, Faye, you asked a question, right? Are there any people out there who even want to do this or learn about this? And there are. And you have to use your voice. And so what I learned the past couple months by doing reprogramming and facing my fears and understanding my fears and discussing my fears with Spirit and with counselors, I realized that fear was really controlling my life for a long time, because you have to understand, I don't tell you these things so you feel sorry for me, right? It's more, I tell you these things so you understand the power of Spirit, to be honest with you. Just to show you how Spirit can change you and change your life. So I grew up, you know, unloved, unwanted, abused. And so, I mean, in every way, shape, or form you can imagine, my mother didn't want me. I haven't talked to my mom in years. I couldn't, if she died tomorrow, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't even cry, because I don't know her. It's like, she's a strange person to me. I shut that door a long time ago. My family, I'm the black sheep of the family. I don't fit in anywhere. They all have each other in these groups, right? And I don't have anybody, really. And it breaks my heart, you know, but that's the way it is. You know what I mean? And I've always stood out. I've always been the weird psychic tattooed girl, you know, and not invited to Christmas and shit because of the way I looked, or you know, whatever the case may be. And you know, you grow up like that, and you grow up unwanted, and you grow up a misfit of society. And you know, that's why I loved punk rock music, was because it allowed me to be with the other misfits of society. And it was like I found my people, you know. It was like, wow, we're all fucked up, yes, and we don't belong, and we have this passion inside of us, and we're pissed off, and you know, and we were that generation, you know. We had some fucked up parents, and so when you grow up like that, and you grow up abused, and you grow up being told you're a piece of shit by your own mother, you have some issues, you know. And I had to, I my life has had issues, but the main thing that I have been drawn to that has changed me is spirit. And when I say spirit, I mean spirituality, spirit guides, um, energies, understanding how energies work, understanding that we go beyond the human, that there's so much more to us, because I've seen it, I've felt it, and so have many other people. And it's not a bad thing, and it's not anything that we want to hurt anybody with. I would never use my abilities to connect with spirit or to see energy of the future to I always tell people I can't predict the future, because people have free will. I mean, anything can happen, honestly. And so I can tell people what could happen if they do certain things, but you know, they have to do the things. That being said, um, it's been a burden, whatever, this ability that some of us have. I know I can only speak for myself. I don't use it to profit. I have a regular job. I don't I used to use it for profit, and it destroyed me. I mean, literally destroyed me, and because it missed the whole point of doing the work. I started doing it because I had to survive, instead of because I was helping people. And now I am in a position where I have a good job and I can just help people, and that's all I want to do. Is I get emotional talking about it. Excuse me. It's so silly that I get so emotional about it, but because it's so important for me to help people, honestly. I mean, if I was rich, which maybe I should get back into doing readings, but if I was, I'd build a healing center where people could come, and I know some amazing healers, and we would heal people, all people, not just healers. And if we couldn't help them, I would help them find somebody that could. Like, if they needed rehab or something, I would hook up with a rehab center and see what I could do. I mean, I would do everything I could to help. And that's one thing that money is good for. Is I'm crying tears now. They're coming down my face because I'm sad that I can't do that for people. But what I can do for people is I can use my voice, and I can just tell them about it. And when they see me and say, "Oh my God, I'm drawn to you. Why am I drawn to you?" I can say, maybe because of this, and maybe it will help them. That's all I know. You know what I mean? And maybe one day, if I create it, the universe will give me that healing center, and I'll be able to give great healers work, and I'll be able to help many people. I mean, that's the dream, right? Is to create community and get people together to heal. So, that being said, it was like today Spirit kind of showed me again the power of the mind, right? I started putting out there questions to the universe. Okay, is this the path? But we can't ask too many questions, right? I just wanted to know if people still wanted Spirit. And they were like, "Oh yeah, everywhere you go." And they showed it to me, because I'll tell you what, these girls started the conversation. I don't go around telling people, "Oh, I'm a spiritualist," and yada yada yada. If they bring it up, then I mention it. And I go, "Wow, that's really wild that you're drawn to my energy. Maybe you need some healing. Maybe you need some teaching. Maybe you need to teach me something. I don't know." I learn all the time. I have this dear friend, Erin. She's 22 years old. I think she's 22. But and she's beautiful, and she's a light child, a star child, a very intuitive, loving being. And she's my friend, right? And even though I'm a lot older than her, and she could be my child, I have a 25-year-old child as well. That even though she could be, we're just really good friends, and I love her so. And she teaches me things all the time about grace and forgiveness and light and love and power. And so yeah, we're never too old to learn. We're never too old to do things that make us grow, and that's the whole point. And so I have been doing a lot of work, and I have been really focusing on recharging my brain. And I know a lot of people are doing that right now, right? And Aliana, my spirit guide, has a message for us all tonight. And she's saying that what happens is people become so fearful and they become so paralyzed by fear and negative energies that are on this earth. They are here. There's no doubt. There's negative forces. And they forget that they have the power to change and be a light. But what happens is it's a discipline, right? It's very hard. Like I said, I've been going 4 or 5 hours a day of constant downloads, right? And then that doesn't stop. I give myself a break. I have to take care of my dog. I got to do other things. And then at night when I go to bed, I'm listening to downloads. Just clear the subconscious. Listening to Jason Stevenson, who's one of my favorite guides on YouTube. And just really deprogramming that fear and facing the fear and looking at it going, okay, because sometimes, a lot of times, we have to remove the fear by acknowledging it, by giving it some credit, by saying, okay, I know you're here, you totally suck, and I want you out of my life. It's kind of like a really bad relationship that you don't want. And you can't be afraid to break up. You just have to walk away from it. And you have to start going into that brain, right? And visualizing it, going into that energy, listening to the instinct, and doing what's right for yourself, which is healing, listening, and accepting who you are in this world. Even though it hurts that I'm the black sheep of the family, I accept it. I'm going to love my family regardless. If they ever needed anything, all they'd have to do is call, and I'd do it if I could. I don't have any ill will towards anybody in my family. When I say I wouldn't cry if my mother died, it's only because I don't know her. I don't have a relationship with her. And she never seemed to want one. Every time we tried, it just didn't work out. And so I had to accept that years ago, my mommy stuff. I don't really even think about her, honestly, too much. She comes up once in a while, but I don't even know if she's dead or alive, I'll be honest. And I don't know if anybody would tell me if she was. I don't know. It's a weird thing that I just stopped trying to figure out. And if you have a family that you're the black sheep, just stop trying to figure it out. It is what it is. And Spirit has always taught me, Faye, you have to get real to heal. These are facts, you know what I mean? And when you dwell on one thing, it doesn't change it. Right? It just makes that thought get worse and worse, right? Like for example, when you're angry at someone or you're stressed out at work or you wake up and you're pissed off and you go to work pissed off and all these bad things start happening to you or these negative things start happening to you, it's because you're creating that. Right? You can't change how people treat you. You can't change how people feel about you because you don't control them. You control yourself. So do I hide in a closet and pretend I'm not who I am to make everyone else happy? Do I dim my light to make other people happy? No, because I did, and I became very miserable. I was like, what the fuck? This is how people live? This is horrible, right? Because most people live like that. They just dim their light for everyone else, and I'm like, I can't live like this. This isn't who I am, and I won't allow people to treat me like shit, and I won't allow this anymore. That's why I'm alone. I just won't allow people to come into my life and hurt me anymore. And I deserve better, and I'm not going to live like this. I'm going down a warrior, motherfuckers. I am going down a warrior. I'm not going to sit here and die like this because Spirit showed me my life. Like, Faye, this is you right now. It's horrible. Yuck. So you have to get in there and do the work again. And I said again, and they said, yeah, Faye, again, until you're going to keep doing and changing for the rest of your life. You have to accept how people feel about you. You have to accept that people aren't going to love you all the time. You have to accept that things aren't going to be perfect all the time. You have to accept that you're going to keep changing. You're going to have to accept that just because things are going great and you have manifested this magical life, it doesn't mean that someone isn't going to be jealous or try to trigger you in some way. It doesn't mean any of that. It means that you learn self-control and you learn that those things really ultimately don't matter. They ultimately don't matter, because when people are doing those things to us or hurting us, it's really just hurting themselves. The best thing you can do is walk away. Is just love yourself enough to go, you know what? No one's allowed in my space that's going to hurt me and my mission to help others. Or whatever your mission is. That just happens to be my mission, is to help people. And when people say, what do you mean help people? I mean, man, when you're seeking guidance, when you are feeling shitty, when you are wanting to kill yourself, I'm there in some way, shape, or form. Whether it be in a thought, whether it be in a conversation you remember that we had, or you call me up. Whatever it is, I'm going to try to be there. And if I can't help you, I know a lot of healers. I've been in this game a long time. I know people who can help you. And if not, we'll keep looking until we find them, you know. And as healers, that's our job. As healers, we are supposed to do those things. So that being said, you know, I had a pretty powerful day with Spirit today, and I'm feeling the change in my cellular structure. I'm feeling the change in my energy. And you know what's really strange is that for the first time in my entire life, doing this spirit work for God knows how long, and all the things I've done, right? All the travels and shamans I have worked with, I finally see the subconscious. And I'm back there and I'm like, wow. It's like this other part of me that I never knew existed, that is so amazing. It's like, it feels like the universe is back there, right? The subconscious. And little did I know how much that subconscious mind controls us, dictates us, dictates our mood, dictates our feelings. And it's important to get through that subconscious mind and clear it out so it can be at its purest power and its purest light. So we can start manifesting the things we want in our life. Right? And it's not always easy. In fact, I'm going to guarantee you it's not easy at all. But it gets easier, just like suffering gets easier, right? It was easy for me to be sad and depressed and ask every day why someone tried to kill me. Why did that happen to me? Why didn't my mom love me? Why didn't this relationship work out? Why didn't I realize I wanted to be with women, or just admit it years ago? Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? Why? You know, and another thing I learned in the past few months is my spirit guide Aliana kept saying, Faye, get out of the past. Past ain't no good. Because I was going back and thinking of all the shitty things I've done in the past, and I'm like, God, can God even forgive me for that? Am I a bad person? And they're like, no, Faye, you're a human being. You know, and this is the thing, is we have to stop beating ourselves up. You know, we have to stop going into the past, blaming ourselves. We have to stop being around people who make us feel shitty. And we have to start getting control over our lives. And I'm proud to say I've been doing that. And it's been pretty cool. And then today I had that great experiences. And I was like, wow, I'm doing the right thing, right? So that being said, if you're having trouble struggling with things, or your life is all of a sudden in a changing motion and you don't know what to do, or you're feeling stressed out, I'm just telling you, Spirit has told me for 2 months now, Faye, start going with the flow. Go with it, Faye. Just go with it, man. Just go with whatever your spirit is telling you to do. and face the things that are blocking you from your truest self. And it ain't pretty sometimes, folks, but it's worth it. So I love you all. Thank you for listening. If you want a reading with me, please reach out to readingswithfaye@gmail.com. And also, thank you for watching YouTube. Thank you for listening on Spotify. I just love y'all so much. I mean, it means the world to me when people ask, where's your podcast? How do I find you? Because it just means that my mission to help others, it feels good that people believe in me like I believe in them. And when we have a sense of community, it does change us. And so I'm here for you, even if you think no one is, I am. And I love you very much. Thanks for listening to The Tattooed Psychic. Until next time, be the love you want to see in the world. Love yourselves.